Hey guys! Check it out. High definition. Also a working microphone. I upgraded as a result of failures in my previous webcam and repeated cheap-ass microphones that did fuck all. So I upgraded! Woo! This thing autofocuses, so sometimes it's a little bit... What are you looking at? Yes, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. Surely there are some of you going, holy crap, Kaylee, we can, see stuff. Like all the stuff in the background. I did laundry recently, and because it's winter, I have to dry all my clothes indoors, or they just don't dry, so that's my laundry. I have started a new hobby. I discovered over the course of my long winter vacation that when I have nothing to do with my hands, I get really, really anxious and really, really depressed really, really fast. So I needed a hobby. I couldn't keep sewing because I'd been working on my cosplay costume for Comic-Cat, and then once Comic-Cat was over, it was like, well, now what do I do? And I don't want to... There's no point on starting on something for Summer Comic-Cat because it's in August. And I may or may not even be here for it. I'm actually hoping to go back to the U.S. over the summer to visit my family and my friends, because I haven't gone back since I left in 2009 for Korea. And I just think it would be... My grandparents on my dad's side are quite old now. And my brother and I spent a lot of time with them when we were growing up, because they... they moved to Washington State for us, basically. We had moved to Washington a few years earlier, and they were still in Phoenix. And my brother and I are the only grandchildren. Well, at that point we were. My aunt later married a divorcee, and she has stepchildren. But, so I think they were really, really... They didn't want to be that far away from us, so they moved up to Washington State for us. And then, over the course of growing up and just being homeschooled, my grandmother taught my brother and I French for about 3 years. I think it was a long time. And my grandfather taught us woodworking, which is kind of a random skill to have. I can use a lathe and a bandsaw and a marquetry saw, and I know how to sand things and how to put seals on things, and I've made everything from pen holder cups to a full dresser. My brother made a rocking chair. Yeah, so we were very close to them, and they're both over 90 now. And when I left, things were starting to get a little bit... When I was still in Portland, they were in a car accident because my grandfather actually had a minor stroke while he was driving. And strokes do run in our family, so they've had a couple since then. And they're still going, but it has gotten to the point where apparently when my mother goes to see them, my grandfather keeps asking her to confirm what day it is. He can't keep track of time anymore. And my grandmother has... Sorry, I pinched my back. My grandmother has had multiple surgeries now, because in the car accident, it messed up her spine a little bit. She broke a hip, and she had some nerves pinched between vertebrae, so she actually had surgery on her spine last year, and that was kind of stressful for everyone. So with that in mind, I think it's probably a good idea for me to see them and go back as often as I am able to. Unfortunately, it's really expensive. And as much as I would like to say, oh, it's family, money is no problem, it is a problem, and I am unfortunately not able It's just not conceivable for me. Ow, that was on my face. It's not conceivable for me to be able to go that often. So, yeah, so I was gonna move out into my own apartment this year, and I've decided not to, in favor of saving up to go back to the US for vacation, because it's gonna cost me that much. So, yeah, there's that. But yes, hobbies. I needed a new hobby. I don't have space for sewing machines, so sewing is whoop, right out the door. I can't knit for shit. I tried a couple times, didn't work. So what I ended up doing was, I had seen these things at the craft store a few times, because I actually wandered the craft store looking for something that looked interesting. And I saw these things called temari. And what temari are, or what they used to be, they were noble women in the Han period. They came over from China, of course. Everything in Japanese culture, well, almost everything, they probably got from China. But during the Han period, the noble women would take scraps of kimono fabric and basically whatever fabric they had and make it into a ball and wrap thread around it many times, and then embroider on the thread, and it was a gift for the children to play with. And as it went forward in time, it became less of an actual toy and more as like a traditional sentimental kind of thing. Like, mothers still give them to children as presents on the New Year, but it's mostly like a symbol because of how much time it took to make. So, I got a kit, and I did some YouTube surfing, and this is my first one. It turned out pretty good, I think. My squares are not entirely square, and I kind of bullshit this whole through the white part pattern because I couldn't understand the directions. The pictures were kind of vague for this part. And the ball was already made for this. For the kits that I have, here's another one. Oh dear. Oh goodness. So, I'm also trying to neaten up my floss. I'm trying to clean up my floss. It's kind of a mess. So, yes, so they come as a ball. Like, here's one that I'm started working on again. The ball is pre-made for this kit. And then it comes with the floss and directions. I took this pattern, after I finished this ball, this is one kind of stitch. This whole pattern is one kind of stitch. So once I figured out how to do that, I went, okay, I'm going to do it my own way now. And I made this. So this is a black baseball, and, well, baseball. I used many different colors of rainbow floss. The eagle-eyed viewer will notice that the RYGB, what is it, RYGB IB? I don't know. The rainbow order, where it goes red, yellow, green, blue, purple. That order remains intact across the entire ball. So it might not always start with red in the middle, but it still goes yellow, blue, purple, or yellow, green, blue, purple, red, and then purple, red, yellow, green, blue. So I continued it. Only one of the patterns repeats, and it's the one with purple in the middle, and they repeat on opposite ends of the ball. And then I got this really awesome metallic thread. It's a really awesome floss, this one, and it's rainbow metallic, and I did that to join all the parts. And I decided not to do this part because I don't actually know what I was doing, and I didn't really like it, so I like the way that this one turned out. So I'm making them as gifts for my assistants at MLS at the end of the year, but also because I need something to do with my hands. So this was my first one, and then this was my, okay, I'm going to take this pattern and do my own fucking thing. I love this thing. I think it's beautiful. It's fun. Colors. I love it. So this is mine. And then trying to organize my floss. embroiderers, I have so much more respect for you now, because this is a hot fucking mess. This, I don't, how does something that starts out looking like this, so nice and pretty, turn into this? What? I don't, anywho. So yes, I'm doing that. I'm having a good time with it. It's fun. It's challenging. Like, I'm trying to learn a new pattern now, and I'm pretty sure I'm still not doing it correctly, so I'm probably going to have to pull this back. I had to pull this one back 4 times before I finally figured out the stitch in the first square, so process. But the next big step is making your own ball. So instead of a pre-made baseball, which is styrofoam wrapped in yarn, wrapped in thread with gold thread to mark out the hemispheres, you start from scratch. So what I have here in my big craft bag here that I got today, go big or go home, I mean, really. So you start with a base material. This is like, you know, the makeup sponges? It's like that, cut up. So it's got a little bit of weight, it's got a little bit of give, but it's still soft enough to push a needle through or thread through or whatever you need to do. So you got that. You put it, I'm going to put it in a pantyhose toe sock. Some description. I have like hosen over there somewhere. And then you wrap it in yarn, and it doesn't matter what color the yarn is, because you cover it in thread anyway. So it actually makes no difference whatsoever what color the yarn is. And then I'm a little worried about my thread, because the thread on this is pretty large and coarse. Like, you can see, they always say that the cheaper the thread the better, because it comes apart. It's not smooth. It's got a lot of grip to it. But I couldn't find anything like that at the store. Not in the amounts that I needed. Like, they showed me temari thread, which is actually what my metallic one is. This one. And they said, oh yeah, you use this. No, because this is 30 meters, and I needed 275 meters. And this is 300 yen. So I was like, no, that's not going to work. So I got this, which is sewing machine thread, so it's much smoother and it's much finer. So I don't know how well this is going to work. It may slip a lot, and it's going to take a long time, because this is very, very small thread. But there's 3,000 meters here, so definitely won't run out. I also picked this beautiful purple color, and I'm going to use, I also got a couple more, I got another baseball, just in case, and another kit to learn this stitch, because the company that makes these kits has YouTube instructional videos for most of them. So I found one that they actually have on their channel, the TM6 one, so I can watch them actually doing the stitch. Because I've discovered that even though the directions have photographs and steps and are really quite clear, I just had a really hard time following them. Like, this looks really clear and really detailed, but when I try to do it, like, I'm trying to do this, mine doesn't look like that, right? Theirs is much tighter, much closer together, and there's some tricky needlework here that I'm not doing that I think I need to be doing, so I'm going to pull this one back. But first, I'm going to try to make my own ball and see how that works out, because it would be really cool. That's like a big step for temari. Like, oh, you made your own ball! Yay! I got a couple more colors of floss to use on the purple ball that I plan to make. So I got these lovely purple and a red. I keep forgetting the camera. A red, a green, and a yellow. And I don't know what pattern I'm gonna do yet, but that will come as it comes. So, yeah. So that's my new hobby, and I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to give it a try, because it's really soothing and really meditative. I also found this book. This is a beautiful book. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? And that one. And the wonderful, magical thing about this book is that it has these absolutely stunning, look at that. That is incredible. Patterns, right? And then, got multiple ones. Like, I'm very, very fond of, I'm just going to click on my favorite. I really like these ones. And what's magic about this book is that step-by-step color instruction. So once I get the basic series of stitches down, I can get books like this, and they're not just pretty things that I love. I can actually do it. So it's been exciting. It's been fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can come up with. Because I will never be a temari master, that's for sure. But I might be able to make some people happy with my doodlings, and I might be able to keep my sanity a little bit better. So, yeah. So that's life today. Pretty cool. Yeah. See you next time.